The first wave of feminism occurred in the year of 1848 to the mid-1920s. The meeting in Seneca Falls was the event that played a major role in this wave of feminism. At this meeting, the Seneca Falls Five, which included Jane Hunt, Mary Ann McClintock, Lucretia Mott, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Margaret Wright. These 5 women presented a document called the Declaration of Sentiments, which was similar to the Declaration of Independence, but it actually included women. These women were abolitionists, which means that they were against slavery. They were also white, educated, and from upper-class families as well. The main goal of this wave was to allow women, or be able to let women speak out against the male-dominant society and just try to make men and the society think that women were equals. There are many accomplishments made in this wave. They abolished slavery. From the 13th Amendment, they gave women the right to divorce, the right to own property, and they also gave them the right to vote. And then they established the formation of National Women's Party. The second wave of feminism occurred between the years of the late 1920s to the end of the 1970s. The main focus of this wave fought for the freedom and independence of women. This wave was known as the Modern Women's Liberation Movement. They legalized birth control, which gave women the right to their own body. They also did other accomplishments, such as women could join the military. They could also join police forces. They also legally brought attention to domestic violence, sexual assault, and sexual harassment. And they also gained the right for women to be single by choice, or be a single mother by choice, excuse me. The first and second waves of feminism were very active. They did a lot of stuff to kind of like push forward the first and second waves of feminism. The third wave of feminism basically focused on intellectual and philosophical writings from higher educated women. The third wave happened between the years of the early 1980s to the late 21st century. And many of the writings focused on the theory of sexual difference between men and women, contrasting the stereo-gendered types and roles and how gender was constructed. For example, men have a penis and women have a vagina. This information was paraphrased from the reference Bossi, Torres, L. Candice, Women's Studies 101, period, 18 January 2012, slides 21, 24, 25, 27, 38, and 40. During the third wave of feminism, there were many women who had college educations and PhDs. They developed different theories of feminism, sexuality, and sexual difference. Irigaray, for example, wrote an article called "This Sex Is Not One," which was published in 1977. I think that Irigaray's main idea of "The Sex Is Not One" was that she explained the sexual difference that can be pushed aside, male dominance in society, which means that the men had power over women because of his penis. Men are considered one in society because they have a visible reproductive organ, but unlike women, their reproductive organ cannot be seen, so they're considered zero. But basically, women shouldn't be classified as zero because they have many zones for sexual arousal. They have multiple zones for sexual arousal. They also should be considered multiple than just one. And then, according to Irigaray, a woman touches herself constantly without being able to forbid her to do so. For her sex is composed of two lips which embrace continuously. Thus, with herself she is already two, but not divisible into ones which stimulate each other. In quotes, "The sex is not one, period, page 249, period, paragraph 2, period, 1977, period." This quote, I believe, explains that women cannot be 0 or 1, they're multiple, which means that since they're multiple, they're not 0, they're not 1, and they're not 2, so they're greater than men. They should have a other purpose than just being like a reproductive gateway. Women cannot only just be satisfied by like sexual intercourse, they can have other things too as well. In comparison, an author named Rosie Braidotti wrote an article called Monsters, Mothers, and Machines. I believe that the main idea of Braidotti's article was that even though men and women are sexually different, they shouldn't be looked at upon negatively. Women shouldn't be discriminated because they're considered weak because men have the power in society because they have a penis. In the reading Mothers, Monsters, and Machines, Braidotti refers to women as a nomad, which means that women don't have a home or a place in society and they don't have a set-in-stone identity. For example, if you're a woman, then you have a vagina. And I got the nomad reference from Mothers, Monsters, and Machines with quotation marks, period, page 60, paragraph 2, and 1994, period. According to Braidotti, the theme of women as devalued difference remained constant in Western thought. In philosophy, especially, she is forever associated to the unholy, disorderly, subhuman, and unsightly phenomenon. It is that she carries within her something that makes her prone to being an enemy of mankind, an outsider in her civilization, and the other. That's from Monsters and Mothers and Machines with quotes, period, page 64, period, paragraph 3, period, 1994, period. I believe this quote means that the women are considered the devil because, or the nomad, which is an outsider basically. They don't have a place in society because they're different from men because they don't have a penis, they have a vagina. This brings me to my next point on another reading that we covered in class, which was Bodies That Matter by Judith Butler, that was published in 1993. I believe that the main point of her article was basically just trying to say that even though men and women are different sexually, they need to be considered equal. Women shouldn't be discriminated because they have different physical like appearances or just like traditional cultures that we've learned throughout the society even since birth. According to Butler, history of the matter is a part of determined by the neglection of sexual difference. We may seek to return to matter as a prior to discourse to ground our claims about sexual difference only to discover the matter is fully sedimented with discourse on sex and sexuality. In quotes, Bodies That Matter, period, page 29, period, paragraph 2, period, 1993. I believe that this quote states that women cannot just be seen as reproductive machines. They are people too. They have feelings too. I feel like that's what the men in society basically think them for, is because they don't have, because they just have a hole that they can penetrate. They don't really have any say in the matter of what men can do to them, or like if they have feelings too, or what their thoughts and opinions are about the male-dominant society. Butler also talked about a theory of repetition, which was basically like girls wear pink, boys wear blue, like girls wear makeup, boys don't wear makeup, girls wear skirts, guys wear jeans. And since that was repeated so often since birth, if you go outside the norm, since saying men wearing makeup, then society's going to look down upon that because it is an abnormal action that's completely out of the norm, and it'll be really discomforting to society, and they will look down upon it. The three authors are similar because they talk about sexual difference being related to sexual difference and sexuality, but they also differ because of their theories on it, how they kind of come up with basically what they're trying to say. They have different writing styles, they have different beliefs, and what they have to say too about their theories. And that is my video diary, and thank you for watching.